there, yarn lovers, it's Gary, and I'm coming to you from my happy place, the Yarn Corner here in Canada. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Today is Saturday, April the 27th, 2024. How you're doing? I hope you're well and staying safe. If you're happening across this channel for the very first time, I've set the channel up to talk about all of my yarny adventures. That's in knitting, crocheting. I do dabble a little bit in yarn dyeing. Haven't done that for a while. And I talk about my acquisitions, where I purchase my yarn from and tools of my craft. So if that is of interest, please stick around. And for those returning viewers, I want to say welcome back. I have been enjoying some of the questions that you've asked on my community tab here on the channel. I was thinking next month in May 2024 of doing a bit of a Q&A episode, because there's so many new faces, new people that I've met along the way. I thought it might be time to just consolidate some of those questions that sparked from like my inspiration point. And I have a fun thing that I'm thinking of doing at the end of the Q&A session in May of next month. So if you have your questions, please visit the community tab, which is, I think it's on my profile part of YouTube. And there I've posed a little bit of a poll on like if you have any questions to ask me. Keep in mind that I will be vetting some of them. So, I mean, vetting out and playing veto on some of the more personal ones. So I may not answer all of the questions, but anything to do with yarny stuff or anything to do with how I got involved with the YouTube world, or getting my inspiration on patterns or using colors, ask away and I will look through them. And in next month, I will do an episode on answering the questions. So I hope that you'll enjoy it. So yeah, this particular episode, as the name suggests down below, I will be talking about my Moodboard Mal I'm hosting right now. So the Moodboard Mal is something that started, when did it start? December of 2023. I did a winter edition and people seemed to like it. So I brought it back into the seasonal kind of 2024, seasonal mal. And we were looking at building a mood board for this particular mal on our favorite songs. So you'll get a gist of what I am talking about through my show and tell, but I have so many wonderful entries already, and I'm just flagging that if you're working on yours, you have 3 days left to get it to me through email. It is closing April 30th, 2024. And I will do a show and tell slide presentation on all the people's mood boards and their makes in early May. So I just need some time to get everything together and edit it all so that it's in a nice sequence order of showing everyone's work as best as possible. And if you have not received a response from me, if you feel that you've sent me your mood board file as well as your make, and you haven't heard from me, then please send it again, because sometimes through modern technology, those things can go awry or go and put in spam boxes or whatever. So please do email me again with your entry and I will respond to let you know that I received it. I've done it to all the ones that have come through my inbox. So I'm really excited to show everyone what fabulous work people have been doing with their mood boards for the spring edition. So the address that you can email me is urbanyarn101@gmail.com. So let's get stuck into looking at my response to my hosted mood board mal for spring. And the song that I picked the Taylor Swift song called Lover. And I will show you my mood board here, but if it doesn't work, I've got an overlay of a digital file that I put up on screen so you'll be able to see. The song that I chose, Lover, has the lyric that that inspired this mood board, and it is, "And this is our place, we make the rules." I was choosing in the mood board to have powerful pastels in rainbow color array of colors, and I had images in the park, juxtaposed with an urban scape, because the idea of the song, images came to mind of being in an urban setting, but more in nature. So like beautiful kind of parks to stroll in if you're in a city like New York with skyscrapers. So I was looking at structure as well as organicness to the images that I was putting in my mood board. So now it came to choosing the colors from the mood board and then looking for a pattern. But what I'll do first is I'll show you what I have with what's left over. Apparently I used more than the pattern asked me to use in yarn, so I used all of a hank that was a gift from my friend Z. Hi Z. Z has a channel here on the YouTube streets called Zelda NRJ3, and she gifted me a hand-dyed yarn in DK, and it had a beautiful speckle array of I'm going to say like birthday cake sprinkles. So it was like rainbow, and it fit into the mood board mal that I had created from the Taylor Swift song so well that one I used all up. Can't show you that because there's nothing left. And then I used a whole Hobbii cake as well. So backtracking to Z's yarn, this is the label here. It's from the Fiber Genie, and I only have a little bit left, so you can see what kind of colors that they went through. So there's purples, greens, splashes of different speckles in darker hues, and it also went through a nice cyan kind of blue as well. So lots of happy speckly cake colors is what I call it, cake colors. And I used the whole thing. So yeah, and there's the wonderful cupcake stitch marker that I got also. I also got a snow globe as well. The other one that I used completely was the Hobbii. They're a yarn store in Denmark, and it's called the Dolce Cashmere, and that was all used up as well. Because this was a fingering weight, and I was holding it, I was actually using DK for the other hand-dyed color. I had to double up on this, and I doubled up the Hobbii cake with a yarn art flower cake. Oh, sorry, it's not a flower cake, it's called, here we go, yarn art RoseGarden. So I used all of that as well. So those two held together gave me an almost equal to weight as the plump DK that I use from Z's Fiber Genie hand-dyed yarn. So those three went into it. Then I ran out of all of those. I had to then figure out what I was going to use for a complementary color. There was a big chunk of the work still to do, and I had chosen this one here, which is a cotton cake that I got from mill-end striped cotton from Herrschners. It came in a pack of 2, so it's very close to the yarn art, and I just used the color from the center here. It was pastel-y buttery yellow, and I held it together with this buttery yellow cotton that was a gift from a co-worker of mine who has a grandmother from England living in Canada, but when she was downsizing her stash, I received this yellow yarn from her, and it's a cotton base too. It feels very cottony. So I held those together to finish off the work. And because I was using 2 colors, I needed to then choose another color that would be my birthday cake, because I kind of ran out of the birthday cake one. So I chose this purple fingering hand-dyed that I got from Judy over at Judy's Creations in Crochet. She has a YouTube channel as well. I bought one of her mystery bundle bags, and this was the yarn that I supplemented with. Because all this is fingering, I needed to double up to keep it the same thickness. Was this hand dyed that I did myself using some bare yarn, and I had over dyed these purples, golds, and I think there's a little bit of green in there as well. So those two I held together to create a dupe on the Fiber Genie's birthday cake because I ran out of it. So let's take a look at the pattern. This is the pattern that I used. I thought it was a really good representation of the whole romantic quality with the urban chic feel that I was going for with the song from Taylor Swift and the mood board that I created. So the urban and cityscape. Here you can see, because it's a paid for pattern, I can't show you the actual pattern itself, but there's what it looks like. A chevron with garter stitch and brioche that goes through the work. It's the easiest way of describing it. It's called Blooming Brioche, and it's by Brandy Velten. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And I got this from Ravelry, purchased it. So do you want to look at the finished object? I'm so proud of this. And it turned out to be a beast because I went up a size in needles. It does ask to use fingering weight, where I was using DK weight. It was asking in the pattern to use a 3.25 set of millimeter knitting needles, and I went up to a 4 millimeter. And then at the end, when I was doing the brioche, I didn't want the brioche to be so baggy, so I tightened up and I went down to a 3.5 millimeter just for the last section. So let me take you through the journey of this. And it starts here at a cast on, I think it's a garter cast on, I can't quite remember. A garter stitch cast on, and no, it's not, sorry, you start with 3 stitches, and then you increase on either side and do your, is it decreasing in the middle or increasing? I think it's decreasing in the middle. So you create this lovely spine, and it's garter stitch until you get to the first chevron, which is the brioche stitch. And you can see this beautiful Hobbii pastel rainbow, and I'm holding it together with the Yarn Art RoseGarden color. I'm not sure what the colorway name was. It probably just has a number. This is color 302 with the Hobbii cake, the pastel. And then it goes bigger, bigger, bigger. It is quite a beast, and it's super squishy. Continuing on with the chevron. Then on the base here, I'm doing something different. There is a bit here where it starts going like decreasing. And then this is where I ran out of the birthday color yarn from Z, right at the edge here. So I got my 5 stripes completely done, and the last row I needed to substitute with a different yarn, so that's where the other 2 yarns came in. And the Hobbii and the RoseGarden finished about here in this yellowish section, and I needed to then choose the other substitute yarns to finish it off. So all of this bit here was necessary to finish the pattern, and I absolutely love it. It goes all the way to this point here. It's beautiful. The other side, slightly different in color treatment because of the brioche stitch. So if I turn it over, equally as beautiful. You get the rainbow. It's very romantic and structurally, like it reminds me of being on a beach as well. In this side especially reminds me of the beach and all the bright colors that people wear generally when they're wearing their bathing suits or beach towels, and you get the beautiful sunsets. Yeah, so I think I might have some clips here where I can try and show you a little bit more if I've managed to get them together in time to add to this clip. I'll put them in here, but if not, I'll keep going and I'll try it on for you. So I'll be back in just a moment. I'm hoping that I had enough snippets along the way of the process of this work to have included a small montage of the work in progress and maybe a little bit of a footage of me showcasing it at a distance so that you can see what it looks like in its entirety, because holding it out from my wingspan, I do have an overhang on each side of about maybe 4 inches. So I'm 5'8". So that would mean that the whole garment length is probably around 6'2", and the depth of it is, I'm gonna guess, maybe 2.5 feet. So if I haven't had a chance to put those clips in, I'm gonna stand up and show you how I've chosen to wear the scarf, because the scarf can be worn in so many ways, and I've used mine as more like a bib. So I've got more of a front kerchief, and I absolutely love this brioche. It's so springy and wonderfully squishy, and on the back it's more brioche going up here. So I have less at the back and more in the front. I think it's a wonderful versatile shape because it's not completely a triangle. It almost is a triangle, but it has one of the points severed off at the bottom, giving you an indication of perhaps maybe that's the way you look at it, so that the severed corner of one side is the base of the work, and then you hold it upright from that base. You can wear it sort of as a scarf from the back, maybe like a shawl, tie it up, do all that wonderful stuff. And I just love it. It's so squishy. Holding those two yarns together to make it equal weight to the DK has given it an extra squish factor, and I love the feel, and the drape of it is amazing. I haven't even blocked this yet, so I have a feeling the size might even increase, but I'm not going to be blocking it aggressively because my edges are pretty straight as they are, so I don't need to do anything to balance up or correct bulging or shrinkage of the garter against the brioche. So I think I'm just gonna lightly wash it and then lay it flat to dry with no pinning, and I think it'll hold its shape really nicely. So let's take a look at the knitting needles that I used for the Blooming Brioche shawl. Mostly it was the 4mm wooden variety here that was generously gifted to me by Knit Picks. I am an affiliate of Knit Picks, so when they sent me these, they said, try them out, review them, talk about them if you like them. And so I thought, well, it's a great opportunity. And these are wooden. I really like them. They're very slippy. They're not like you would expect wood variety of knitting needles to be. I would expect them to be kind of a bit more draggy, that they kind of would hold the yarn better on, wouldn't be so slippy. But these ones are treated in a way that there's no resistance there, or very little. And the tips are very nice, not too pointy, so it wasn't splitting my yarn. I really liked working with them. So as you can tell, the set offered up a cable, because these are, you can take these off, these needle tips, and the set that they had gifted me also had another set of steel needles or metal needles. So it's a nice way of getting a feel whether or not you need the wood or you prefer metal, and you haven't made that distinction yourself, but you don't want to spend too much money on a full set. So this little treat from Knit Picks was, hey, give it a go. See whether you like metal or whether you like the wood. And I haven't tried the metal ones yet from Knit Picks, but I do like the wooden ones, and they're so funky. Look at that. They have some sort of type of color, multicolored varnishes, and I thought that was neat. So thank you. I'll include the link down below to Knit Picks, where you can see where this is, and it is affiliate link. So if you do click on there and make any purchases, or if you're looking to shop for a sample set so that you can make a decision whether you want to go wood or metal, then perhaps maybe this particular one would be good value for you before making that investment. And yeah, so if you use the links, some of your, there'll be no extra cost to you to use the link if you're purchasing, but I do get a kickback. So anything that comes back from your purchases from Knit Picks will be put back into the channel. So as I said, most of it was used with the 4mm, but the last bit of brioche, this section here, section 6 brioche, I wanted to go down a size in needle because I wanted to make the edging not so kind of fluidy. I wanted there to be some structure because it was the end edging of the main bind off area. So I went down a size in knitting needle, and I went to a 3.5mm, and I used my Chia Goos, the stainless steel. These are the 5-inch in length needle heads, and these are the interchangeable as well, and I absolutely love the cord on this Chia Goo. Has no memory, it's beautiful to use, it's very flexible, and it the join on the tips to the cable itself, when you are putting them on, it's seamless and there's no bump there, so your stitches just glide over, and it's just wonderful. I love these so much, and this was a gift that was given to me by Donna recently. She wanted to share with me her Chia Goo set of the 5-inch variety in stainless steel, and I absolutely love these. Thank you so much, Donna, for sending them. It was a dream to work with and finish this project with. So now we have 3 more days left of this MAL that I've been hosting, and I've really enjoyed receiving the people who have entered all their wonderful makes and their inspiring mood boards, and I just can't wait to put this all together in early May. And if you're working on yours and you're feeling that you can get them in before April 30th, 2024, that would be great. Again, the email to send them into is urbanyarn101@gmail.com, and I'll look for them in the inbox. Moving on to the next thing, I'm going to shift gears and talk about some works in progress, and maybe just one. I don't know, maybe I'll mention 2. This one here is on a blackboard. I stretched it out to take photos of it, but there it has remained because I've fallen behind a little bit, and it is Crystal over a bag a day. It is her shawl along, and I'm really enjoying it. So I've completed the first 3 sections, and those are tutorials that drop every 5 days, and I think the last one will drop on April 30th. So I've fallen behind. It's now currently on section 5 of the video releases, and there's one more to go, but I'll show you what I've got so far. This is actually a really good way of showing you here. So I just pinned it on my blackboard, and I think if I can grab my hand here, the first one was up to this open area here, the lacework. The second one was just before the squiggly line, and then the third one was this section here. I'm really enjoying this a lot, and I'll just put this down because it is very, very big and it's taking up a lot of the room. So hopefully I'll catch up to at least section 4 and get that done. So what I've got here are the main yarn that I'm using is a, why can't I get that? Oh, here it is. It's a Stanley cake, and it's the variety called Candy. The colorway is 85702. It's what it comes in a bag, and that's the label. And where I'm at, these are the colors here. I'm using it from the center. It started off as a mustardy yellow, and now it's going into more of the khaki and olive greens. And I thought I would use the outside color here, more of a minty green, to break it up and divide some of the sections that you've seen. So I kind of used the middle and the outside interchangeably. Now I'm at the part, it's not a spoiler anymore because people have been working on the sections 4 and 5, but I'm up to 4 where the wonderful flower puffs come into it, and I'm thinking of doing dark flowers on a light background. So I am right now in a light olive color, so it's more of a lime olive, and then I'm thinking I might do my flowers in one of two things on that lime, the lime olive green background. Either do more of a peacock teal, or do this color here, which is, this is also like an olive color, but it's the darker variety of olive. The other one is more of a lime olive, and this is more of a dark olive color. So I don't know which one I will choose to add as my dark flower puffs. But this one here is the BC Garn Silk Soft, and that one came from Hobbii or Hobbii. My peacock teal, this color here, is a merino. What are you? I think you're merino and acrylic. So that's got a bit of a shimmer to it as well. So what are your thoughts? If you were to make darker puff colors on a lime green background, would you put a teal or would you put a darker olive? So my thoughts are this would probably relate better to the color palette, but this one here would stand out and would really be differentiate from the color palette that I'm using. So I'm not too sure which style to go for. I might try the row with one, and if it doesn't work, I might pull it back and try the other one. But leave me your opinions down below. I'm using a 4mm crochet hook. It's a Susan Bates for that project. And I can't wait to get it off the board and start on it again. I was focused a lot more on just completing this mood board now because I'm hosting it, and I feel responsible a little bit to at least do one huge project. I did have 4 huge projects to choose from, but I chose this, the Blooming Brioche in the end. And I think I might go back and do the other 3 consecutive years if we do another Moodboard Mail Spring edition and we use song lyrics. I already have my next 4 years worth of song lyrics for the springs of 2025 to 2027. So I'm all set. Yeah, the other thing that I want to show, just something really quick and simple, just to talk about the blanket that is slowly going on in the backgrounds as I work away on these other bigger projects. So this is a bit of my palette cleanser, is the Nature's Walk. So I do feel the sense of accomplishment when I'm crocheting on the Nature's Walk, and that's by Sandra Paul. I am pottering away on some more squares. This one I did just yesterday, and it is not really showing up very well. It's a free pattern that I'll include down below in my link, and there are additional bonus squares that you can purchase from Sandra Paul's collection of Nature Walk square motifs. But this one here is called, what do you call the bloom, I think? Blossom. So this is Blossom, and I've already done Blossom in a colorway called Fox, but I need a lot more of the squares than the pattern calls for, because I'm making 4 times the size. So I'm doing 100, or actually it's more than 4 times the size. I'm doing 100 around 160 squares. So I need to do around 15 to 16 of each of the motifs. So I've chosen this color. It's a beautiful color that I received from, I purchased it from Wool Warehouse, and I went crazy and bought all the Stylecraft special DKs. Look at that color, it's beautiful. Because I don't often buy from Wool Warehouse, I made sure that in my purchase I was gathering many colors that I could use for future projects, because coming all the way from Europe to Canada, you don't want to do that often, but when you do, you want to make sure that you get enough for other projects down the way. So this colorway is called Parma Violet. It's a nice DK weight yarn, and I'm really enjoying it. It's very soft, very soft. The factor of this one, I'm going to say for an acrylic yarn is medium to a medium high. So if I'm rating it out of 5 being the softest, this one is probably a 3.25. So it's definitely above average for a soft value acrylic yarn. Yeah, so I'm happy with that. I'm using a 3.75 millimeter crochet hook. No, it's a 3.5, sorry, 3.5 millimeter crochet hook. And it lives in this plastic bag here because I do throw this into my work bag. So when I'm at lunch, I can work on something in the cafeteria, or if I'm taking a break, I can just have it in my bag ready to go to work on a square. So that's my square for, I guess, what we have left in April. So that catches you up with everything that I want to cover for this episode. I am looking forward to the next couple of months on things that are happening here on the channel. Okay, in May, I'll be answering some questions in a Q&A style. And if you're interested in posing a question so that I can answer it, you know, veto the ones that are a little too personal, but you know, the ones that are talking about yarny and things that we get excited about in creations and creating, then you can leave them for me in the community tab. It is in the profile page. I've made a section where you can ask questions for Q&A. So take a look in the community page and pose your question there. And I'll keep them all together so that when the time comes to make the video, that's where I'll go to look to answer the questions. And then further on towards summer, June, July, August, I'll be hosting my next Moodboard Mal, and it will be the Moodboard Mal Summer 24 edition. And I've got a different theme this time. It's not going to be looking at our favorite songs and getting lyrics from them and putting them into a mood board and then creating something from it. It will be something entirely different that I'm super excited to tell you about, that I'm going to tell you in June. And we're going to have a nice chunk of time to work on it too. It's not going to be 6 weeks. I think it's going to be 8-week length of time, so that if we choose a challenging project or it's something a bit bigger, then we've got time for that. Or sometimes we just get away. We do holidays, we visit family, we see friends. So the last thing that we think about is our craft. So I do think that's a good balance in life to do that. So I'm going to open it up for a little longer and make sure that we have enough time to do our mood boards and our make. So yeah, with that, I will catch you up in the next video. Have a great week, and we'll talk more soon. Bye for now.